Hey, it's another great day of recovery. My name's Erik. I'm a counselor working with addiction. Today, I thought we'd talk about how to break free from compulsive gambling. I started looking at compulsive gambling probably 20 years ago. I was working a lot with other addictions, then learned that it's addiction that is so different than all the others. And then I started to learn how much of our language we use that relates to um, gambling. Like phrases like, I bet, or you play your cards right, as luck would have it. And so I really took some time to ponder these things. I got some training. I passed the national exam for treating people with compulsive gambling, but never really went and got certified. Didn't see the need to. But let's talk about that. I would say the first thing you could do is to get to a Gamblers Anonymous meeting. You may go, oh, I don't want to do that. Just let me go talk to a counselor. But I'm just being honest. My experience is if you can actually get with other people with the same issue, everything changes. It really, another gambler can help you like no one else can. And I will confess, I have many addictions, but compulsive gambling is not one of them. Have I been tempted to go to the casino? I will confess, temptation is not the same as doing it, by the way. Probably once a month. I'm not, well, I'm not proud or not proud. I'm just saying it's kind of odd. I would be afraid to go because if I won, I would then probably catch the disease. That's kind of how it works. Out of all the gamblers out there, about 5 to 8% will catch the disease. There is a distinction between problem gambler and compulsive gambler. I see it as very similar. I can see the nuance. A problem gambler hasn't gotten to the place maybe of compulsive. The binger, the person who will stop many years and then find themselves going back, there is something called the lie bet test. It's very simple. Lie is for have I ever lied? Anything around compulsive gambling or gambling. Have I, yeah, let's not even put the compulsive word there. Have I lied regarding where I was or how much? And then bet, have I ever bet more money than I had planned to? Okay. The casino owners are the ones who make money. I don't really know of people who long term make money at casinos. You're more likely to catch the disease if you have an early win, statistically. So if you spent gambling 20 years and never make any money, you don't go often because you don't like to lose money. You're not likely to then catch it. But if somehow you go and you have the joy of winning, you get hooked. And that's why people can kind of sniff at people. Oh, they have compulsive gambling. I was like, no, if you don't understand, if you actually put like $40 in a slot machine and get 40,000 out, your brain would have such an experience, it just couldn't help but want to chase that again. And add in a spiritual affliction where it's tempting the person to go. Um, it's just very powerful. It's kind of like a hook. It grabs you, and now it's going to make you spend money whether you want to or not. I know people that have spent hundreds and thousands of dollars on the disease. People that are spending 2,000 a month and have health issues and are staying up all night compulsively at the casino and then gets up to work to try to support the habit. It's a nightmare. It's a nightmare. 1 in 5 will kill themselves from it. And in my ignorance, when I was getting information on studying to be someone helpful for this, and I got information from the state of Washington, they sent me this video. I watched it as this actor, going through the motions, progress through the various stages of getting worse, and then at the end kills himself at the casino. And it's like, really? Wow, that's awfully dramatic. When I talk to other people who specialize, they go, no, that's typical. That is typical. So it's a very deadly disease. I haven't done the stat. Well, it's 1 in 5. That seems high. It seems like you're more likely to die from compulsive gambling than heroin. I'm not sure on the stats there, but I do know it's bad. Some of the symptoms are people struggle with gastrointestinal problems or health issues. They can't leave the chair to go to the bathroom. They have nervous tension, and it seems to be relieved by going and putting money in a slot machine. Very, there's 2 types of gamblers: action gamblers, which are more likely to be playing cards or things where there's high stakes and some kind of strategy. And then escape gamblers, which are those that just put money in a slot machine. And it's what actually drew me to start to do neurofeedback, because so many of the classes involved ADD, that they said that there's an ADD quality to the brain of people that struggle with compulsive gambling. There's an aspect of the brain, the cingulate gyrus, the part that gets stuck, similar to sexaholics as well as cocaine addicts and gambling. It hits that part that can't get the thought out of their mind that the casino took my money and now I want to go back. I've heard from the people I've worked with that loneliness is a trigger. A lot of people who don't have a lot of friends, that don't have their loved one that passed away, maybe recently, they go and spend money at the casino. The casinos are fresh air and no clocks, no windows to show you the time of day, so you could stay there for hours and never know it. There's this aspect of who wouldn't want to feel like a winner. Maybe you felt like a loser most of your life. You never win anything. You never were picked for sports or not that good at grades. And this makes you feel important, special. On the spiritual spectrum, it probably relates to greed, the money. For those that are Christian, Jesus said you cannot serve mammon and God, and mammon being its own, God relating to money. And if you think about it, a lot of evil in the world does have this trail to money. Getting free, because this is, I'm just giving you a crash course on what to do. I would look up Gamblers Anonymous. In fact, we can go there together. I've been doing this lately. It seems like there's spiritual forces just getting people not to go to meetings that would be so obvious that they could begin to get better. You just enter by clicking enter. And it says, here are the 20 questions. Do I ever lose time from work or school due to gambling? Has gambling ever made your home life unmanageable? Does gambling affect your reputation? Have you ever felt remorse after gambling? After a win, do you have a strong urge to return and win more? Do you ever borrow money to finance gambling? Did you ever gamble longer than you had planned? Have you ever gambled to escape worry, trouble, boredom, loneliness, grief, or loss? Difficulty sleeping. Okay. Let's go to a meeting. U.S. meetings. You can find the day of the week, choose a state. We'll go to Washington, which is my home state here. I am also licensed in Idaho. It's kind of a, let's put in 9, 2, 5, 8. Let's make it a wide radius, 500 miles. See how this works? So it just tells me where there's meetings. Closed meetings means, well, this says closed, but an open meeting means you don't have to actually have the problem to show up to a meeting, but closed meaning only if you think you struggle with compulsive gambling. And if there's no real gamanon, say like you have a loved one with compulsive gambling, there's a gamanon website, gamanon.org. Let's put some of these up here. Gamblers Anonymous and Gamanon. But I would go to GA. I've gone to GA even though I don't have the problem. Very kind, learned a lot by just going to a meeting, because I figured I needed to know what meetings were like locally to be able to be effective. I will say other recovery tips, reading other books. I would read, bring some money for the GA books, A New Beginning. One thing you could do is just commit to it and compulsively or impulsively just buy some of the meeting literature through the website, have them ship it to you. Because we, like anybody in recovery, we have this moment of clarity, help, and then now we don't want help. And so that can be a problem. If you can just compulsively or impulsively get to a meeting, bring cash, because that's where you'll find some of the help. Reading stories, losing your shirt, House of Cards, I'll post them as resources. But I'd say the number one, well, there's a couple of resources, but getting with other people with the problem is vital. Getting through the steps. As soon as you realize you have the problem, just try to get through the steps quickly, as outlined in this AA book. Just replace the word gamble or alcohol with gambling and betting. I go to 2 to 3 different meetings a week. Try to go to 5 to 10 at the beginning so that you discover which meetings are the best meetings. With now a lot of online meetings, I highly recommend online meetings. They're so convenient, just the push of a button. It can't get any easier than that. And you'll find that the quality of meetings goes up, because maybe there's 20 meetings in your area or maybe 2, but see, now you can find meetings all over. Say like you're tempted at 2 in the morning. Well, there's likely to be a meeting that's open in another part of the world or country there. I would get a sponsor. A sponsor is there only to get you through the steps. They aren't technically a friend, and they aren't technically there to answer all the problems about your marriage and which therapist should I go to, should I do this and this. No, that's not their job. And their job is to get you through the steps. It means meeting with you and going through the steps together. Now, if after you get through all the steps, you get recovery, then you find yourself wanting to talk about some of these extra things in your daily meditation, you're coming up with issues, great. But so many people will start with all this other stuff and get bogged down in their other stuff and then don't ever really get to the steps. So hopefully, and yes, you can seek out a professional or a coach, someone who really understands this. Be a great idea. So anyway, I wish you well in your recovery. Please leave comments or likes or subscribe if that is found useful to you. You take care and have a great day.